Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. A bunch of little things to cover here, stuff I didn't want to cover in their own video because it was relatively small, but enough of it's built up now where I think it's worth covering it all. First, I want to explain a little bit more about, I suppose, why you haven't seen early reviews for comics, even though you probably know if you follow me on social media that I have requested reviewed copies of these books. So you can see here on my account on Edelweiss, where I've requested these review copies, that I have 3 pending books here. So Imbalance Part 3 down the bottom, Team Avatar Tales, and Runes of the Empire Part 2. Now it says pending, and that means of course that the publisher hasn't said yes or no, they just haven't got around to it yet. Meaning I'm just in this position of like, I don't know if or when I will get review copies for these books. And the problem is that obviously the release date, as you can see here for Imbalance Part 3, is Tuesday. It's the 1st of October. We're only 5 days away from there. And it's getting very, very late. And as you can see here, I requested this book for review 101 days ago, the day this book went up for request. So I should be kind of pretty much right towards the top of the list with regards to people who have requested this book. And I haven't heard back about it. I haven't seen anyone else post a early review for this book, which gives me the impression that no one has received a review copy for this book yet for whatever reason. I don't know how long they're going to leave it or what, but realistically they've only got like Friday and Monday, because I assume they're not going to do anything over the weekend. And at that point, after that, the book's out. The book's out on Tuesday, and because it's released digitally on Tuesday as well, everyone's going to have access to it. So, in Balance Part 3, it's not too big of a problem that I don't have a review copy, because realistically, if it comes down to it, I can just get the digital copy of this book Monday at midnight and, get a review out relatively early. Though it would be very helpful for me if I was able to get the book earlier, so I could put out an early review and a normal review, but that doesn't matter too much. Team Avatar Tales is where some problems may come up. It says here release date October 15th, but this book has the old style of dates, so it's actually the 2nd of October for comic book stores, 15th of October for everywhere else, which means that if I can't get this book in my local comic book store, I will be waiting for the book's proper release to get a hold of it. So I would very much be reliant on a review copy of Team Avatar Tales to get the guarantee I get the review copy of that out as soon as possible. So that's kind of the bigger kind of thing I'm thinking of right now. Runes of the Empire, I don't really expect this right now. Probably within the next week or two, I'll be like, it's a part 2, it's not a part 3, so I don't see why they'd be leaving it super late. And usually review copies are given out like in or around a month, 2 weeks before release. So, I understand why there's no movement on Runes of the Empire yet. But I think you can sort of see the problem of just like, I requested these books very early. You have to write a whole thing about why you requested and stuff like that. And then just for anyone wondering, I have done previous reviews before. Here's my reviews for Imbalance Part 2 and Runes of the Empire Part 1, both of which I requested and got approved for, and I wrote reviews for. So you can see my scores there, but you can also see that I wrote actual written reviews and filled out their whole thing, like a pretty lengthy written review there for it, and submitted to publisher. So I didn't get any feedback either way about this, so as far as I'm aware, I did everything correctly. I don't see why I shouldn't get, approved for review copies for the other books, but that's just the situation where I am now. I've pretty much checked almost every day since I requested to see if the book was available, and there's no sign of it yet. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm just as in the dark as you guys are about this, and I don't think there's anything I can do to contact anyone about this, because as far as I'm aware, my contact with the publisher was sending the request. So let's see where it goes from here. But let's get into the news now, and we'll start off with this. So the BoxLunch Exclusive Appa 6-inch Funko Pop is now available. So if you can order without paying too much shipping from BoxLunch, you can get the 6-inch flocked Appa for a pretty good price, $20.99 plus whatever shipping. That's pretty solid for a 6-inch Funko Pop, and we get some better looks at the figure as well. So just the side view I think is a good view of it, giving you an idea for how much longer it is than the standard one that we got, the normal sized Funko that we got. As well as the close-up, you get a sense for what it means by flocked, it having the sort of fuzzy texture to it. So very nice, and I'm assuming they will announce a standard 6-inch Appa that isn't flocked, but we haven't heard about that yet. But just be aware of that. We'll come back to Box Lunch in a second, but first, on the Funko Pop side of things, Cabbage Merchant. So we have a picture of it outside of its box, but the big reveal here is that it's actually been revealed now that this isn't just a New York Comic Con exclusive, it's going to be a shared exclusive with GameStop. So GameStop will have the Cabbage Merchant and Cabbage Cart exactly the same as the NYCC version, as a GameStop exclusive. That immediately is going to make this thing much more available. That immediately, for me, solves most of the problem with this being available or not available. Now, as you can see here, this Funko account pointing out the problem with the price, as well as the first comment there of it being priced at $30 means they're effectively treating this as like a double pack. That they are treating the Cabbage Card accessory as being just as like the same price as a figure. And obviously it's not the same size, it's not the same thing. I understand charging more than a normal figure because it is such a big accessory, but I get the idea that that's a little much. And especially for anyone who isn't going to be in America and have access to a GameStop where this will be available, you're going to have to go off the like eBay kind of sellers and stuff like that. You will be looking at a bigger price here, but I think the price is really going to come down compared to what I expected it to be when it was just a New York Comic Con exclusive. I think you're probably going to be paying like 50, maybe 60 at most for this. But again, we have to see how available or not available it is. From my experience, the Azula, which was the GameStop exclusive in the first wave, there was lots of sellers selling it for not that bad of a price. So that's how I got my Azula Funko Pop, and it was pretty readily available and stuff like that. Of course, secondary market, you're going to have to pay over the odds. But for a figure like this, Cabbage Merchant, such a unique figure, I think you're probably going to see a lot of people willing to kind of spend a little bit more. So it's nice though. I think the price goes from potentially 100 or 200 maybe on the secondary market to being more like 50, 60. So we'll see how that goes. But that definitely for me is a positive. The figure continues to look very good, and I think a lot of people will be after this one. Then this is interesting. Continuing on Box Lunch, they don't just have a few exclusives, they have a whole line of Avatar merchandise that, as far as I'm aware, is official. The main thing they were really highlighting, and even the Facebook page and stuff like that, the official Avatar Facebook page were highlighting it, is this series of 4 basically football or soccer jerseys for Avatar. So one for each nation. This is the Fire Nation one. You can see it says Zuko #1 on the back. Fire Nation, you get the kind of dragon as like the team symbol and stuff like that. The fire symbol in the logo, really cool, and like a standard Earth Kingdom top. There's the Water Tribe kind of jersey. You can see there's very nice. Kind of Tui and Law as one of the logos, and then the Water Tribe symbol and Katara on the back. I think they look really cool, and just in general, a lot of the stuff that they have here is super, super interesting for me. There's the Earth Kingdom jersey, which is very, very interesting. Top Zero on the back. And they have a lot of just stuff like this, even like chibi stuff. Stuff with like badger moles on it, Earth Kingdom animals. Again, more chibi stuff, jewelry. Even pins, you can see here, of the chibi characters. So much kind of variety and stuff like this. And the like a Toph replica headband. Like, this is the sort of merchandise like they should have had ages ago. So it's amazing to see just Box Lunch has like everything basically. But the thing that really interested me was the Airbender kind of jersey. I think this looks really cool. Aang #4, Air Nomads on the front, Air Nomad logo, arrows on the sides. I think that looks super cool, and if it wasn't kind of relatively expensive, and then for shipping to Ireland, stuff like that, I'd probably be like, yeah, I kind of want to get one of these, but I think it'd be a little much to spend to kind of get one as it is right now. But overall, just it's cool that they have this lineup of merch, and they have so much stuff. So yeah, it's weird. It went from not really knowing much about BoxLunch to like they have everything pretty much. But last thing to cover here is Zen Monkey Studios. I haven't talked about them in a while because they haven't really been doing that much Avatar or Korra stuff, and then a lot of the stuff they have been doing I've been a little disappointed with, and you'll probably see that as I go through here. But here's the first thing, is that they're going to be doing this collectible mystery pin series for Avatar. You can see here it's going to be 8 a pin. It's mystery, so of course you're going to buy basically a blind bag pin, and you're going to have a chance at getting one of this group of pins. So there's, I think, 10 here, and you'll probably have seen 9 of these 10 pins before, because you have seen them before. The only new one here is actually the air symbol. That's the only new pin, because as you can see in the comments, someone directly points this out. I only need the air symbol because they released in these kind of 3-packs, these kind of premium things that I think they sold at conventions first. Basically sets for 3 of the 4 nations. Like, so you got your water symbol, fire symbol, earth symbol, and the characters that sort of fit each one. And they're the exact same pins, except we now have the air symbol. And this person kind of points out the fact that it's just like, really, you're releasing a mystery pin series of pins you've already released in these kind of set things, so like not mystery before. So realistically, like a good amount of people will have 9 of these 10 and will only want one of them, and then for everyone else it's kind of like, oh, like here's another way to get them, because I don't think they're available. The 3-packs are available anymore, but it's just, for me, it's just kind of like, I like a lot of these pins, but I really wish they'd just sell these separately, because if they were available separately, I would just immediately order the 4 symbols as pins, just straight away, like full on, just get those and order them. As it is right now, in terms of like the mystery pin thing, I don't think I will be buying any of these, because I don't want to have to deal with kind of messing around with like, oh, do I order 3 to hopefully get 1, and inevitably, like, it just goes on and on and on, and you're just trying to get that air symbol, but we don't get it. So I think this would be a cool thing if they had a sort of better recent track record with their pins, but as it is right now, I think this was kind of poorly put together. I think it should have been 10 completely brand new pins, rather than 1 that's brand new and then 9 that some people will already have. I do appreciate, in a way, like giving the second opportunity to get this kind of group of pins, but you can see the problem that's there. Next up, their New York Comic-Con exclusive pin for Avatar is going to be this rainbow metal Avatar State Aang, which I think actually looks really cool, but unfortunately it's just another one of these situations of like Zen Monkey Studios putting out an Avatar or Korra pin that is cool and interesting, but they ruin it by it being an exclusive here. It's packed in with all these other pins that maybe you don't want, and so many of their standard pins just aren't that great. I hope this one goes up for sale. There's a couple of them on their website, because I am actually interested in this one. I do like the idea. The kind of rainbow metal effect is going to be really cool. Avatar State Aang, it fits. I like it. But again, it's an exclusive, unfortunately. Which leads on to their next wave of what I assume are just standard pins. It's these 4 pastel Avatar pins, and they're fine, I guess, but again, it's like the main characters again, but in weird colors. Okay, Aang, okay. Katara with purple hair, okay. Zuko with lots of pink. tough. Like they look cool in the sense that they're like completely like rectangular pins and stuff like that, and some of the art is actually interesting. But I think it's kind of like I get you're going for the pastel look and stuff like that, but I think it doesn't work that well. I'm not interested in any of these pins at all because of the goofy color scheme, which they kind of have a little bit of a history of doing that with some of these pins, of like, that pin would be cool if it wasn't colored so weirdly or something like that. And it kind of feels like it's just happening again, where like, oh look, the pin I want, oh but it's a New York Comic Con exclusive. Oh look, the pin I want, but it's 1 of 10 of a mystery series. I think Zen Monkey Studios are struggling a little bit in my mind, because I don't feel they're really doing what exactly Avatar fans want, in that the amount of characters who don't have a pin yet every main character has so many pins. Like, where's our May? Where's our Ty Lee? Where's our Avatar Wan? Where's Rava, Vatu? Those type of things, the obvious stuff. Like, why aren't they just selling the nation symbols separately? I really don't get why they're kind of making it so complicated in a way. And then, like, for most of the year, all they've been doing is putting up this kind of exclusive limited run Korra pin. Here's another one of them. It feels like they're over specializing in some things and then not doing other stuff, and that, like, how can you have that many Korra pins but not a single one for Avatar Wan? So I'm just a little confused by like what exactly their direction ideas are with the pins. Like, why aren't they doing certain characters? Because I think they've gotten enough feedback from Avatar fans in terms of when they've asked questions about what would you like, and it just feels like they're sort of ignoring that a little bit, especially when like the artist who does a lot of their pins is kind of like teased stuff about like designs for like a potential Avatar Wan so long ago, and there's still no sign of anything. So for me, like, Zen Monkey, they definitely have dropped. I think they went from when they first revealed they were doing Avatar pins to being like the surprise cool Avatar merchandise thing of that year, to now it's kind of like, wow, when are you gonna get a release right, in a way? When's your next like good big release that I care about gonna be? I find myself, anytime they announce something, being like, oh, that's cool, but, and then there's at least 1 or 2 problems with it, rather than it just being cool new merchandise. There's always a but with it. So yeah, I hope we see some improvement on this stuff, because they definitely need to improve in my mind. But yeah, there is the recent news that we've got. Again, reviews for those comics whenever I get them, review copy stuff whenever it happens. Either way, you'll see a review for Imbalance for sure on maybe Monday really late, or Tuesday for sure. Team Avatar Tales, you could be waiting. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.